Hi, I'm Frank Pavich, Director and founder of the Black Hills National, along with two of my Board of Directors members, Paul Soriano and Joel Martin. We've been doing this for an awful long time. I founded Black Hills Nationals with wrestling camps back in 1994, and then I created a tournament along with the help of these guys and some more board members in 2003. So we've been putting on the Black Hills Nationals for quite some time. With the COVID year last year, we had to postpone it. So this is actually our 17th year. It should be our 18th year, but we're looking to have a really banner year this year. Market that we get is coast to coast. I mean, we have wrestlers coming from the East Coast, the West Coast, and everywhere in between. Well, it's pretty amazing. It's created a lot of opportunities for a lot of kids. I'm a college referee, and it's really neat for me to see these kids that competed in Black Hills Nationals, competing in college sports. One kid just won the Big 12s at 149 pounds. Kid from North Dakota State University. He's a Weber kid out of Montana. He's wrestled in this many times. So we've really seen it come full circle, and it really services not only our area, but it pulls in an amazing economy. We have a wonderful amount of community sponsors. We have an impeccable amount of volunteer help, and we couldn't do it without being a collective effort. And on that note, maybe I can have Paul chime in and say a few words, and then we'll have Joel say a few words as well.
Yeah, it's really about the wrestlers, and I think Joel and my heart, being elementary educators, it's all about the kids and teaching them success and giving them opportunities, as Frank said. My job, because we care about the kids, is to provide the best officiating possible. We have 14 officials this year coming from 5 different states: North Dakota, South Dakota, Montana, Wyoming, and Missouri. And so these are elite officials, and we want that type of official to provide the best officiating format for the kids who come and are a part of our tournament. So that's kind of my gig in this whole thing, is organizing those officials, selecting them, and just ensuring that they're the best officials for the kids.
And I'm going to ask Joel Martin to say a few words, because Joel's kind of the nuts and the bolts guy. I mean, Paul does a lot more than just organize officials. He's really, we have a lot of moving parts behind the scenes, and Paul helps me grease those wheels, and Joel helps me do the same, because Joel is basically in charge of the gyms, in charge of the infrastructure, the logistics in the school systems. And this community is really fortunate to have people like Paul and Joel. They've been with me for the last 18 years and longer, actually. Ever since they've come to this community, they've jumped on and they've been part of our organization. We run it collectively as a board of directors. We make our decisions as a board of directors, and we expand it as a board of directors. And I'm very lucky to work with these two men in making this really a crown jewel event for not only this community, but for our state and the sport of wrestling. So I'd like Joel to say a few words, if he would, please.
You bet. I've been, as I said, name's Joel Martin. I'm a teacher and a coach, been in Spearfish for about 24 years now, and wrestling coach all those years. And, again, I'll reiterate what Paul said, is that I think it's a great thing for us to have this. We get to see some competition of kids that come in all over from the nation, really, now. I mean, it used to be kind of local, but now we're getting kids from other states across the nation. And basically what I do is I help set up the mats and get all that worked out, which is kind of a chore, but we've kind of got a system down. And I have 2 guys that help me, Cody Powers and Josh Parrish, that they're just as integral as I am. And then I also do the announcing, so I lend my voice to that. And so, which is really fun. I enjoy doing the announcing and seeing the joy on the kids' faces when they get to step up on the podium and, you give them a first place. Or it's even funny sometimes the third place ones are just as excited as the first place, which is great. But Again, it's about opportunity. I like the timing of this because it's a couple of weeks after our high school season, so kids are still relatively in shape, and they might get to see those kids that they didn't see during the season, or sometimes out here we see the same kids over and over again, and now we go get to see a kid from Montana or Wyoming, Minnesota, Iowa. You don't get that anywhere else, and it's in our own backyard. So I mean, what more could you ask for? But yeah, it's been fun doing it. It's really been neat to see how this tournament's grown through the years. I think it'll just get bigger and bigger. And it's going to be kind of fun having it at our own high school this year, and we get to showcase off our high school a little bit.
With that being said, the mission of the Black Hills Nationals is to give kids opportunities to enhance their wrestling skills. Our goal here is to, if that's a youth wrestler that wants to turn into a junior high wrestler, help them get to that point. Help that junior high wrestler get to a high school level and be an efficient high school wrestler. And then once he or she is that efficient high school wrestler, then give them an opportunity to get to college. There's a lot of times many times now, with 17 years into this, we're seeing that churn. We're seeing that turnaround. We're seeing that youth wrestlers start and go up the ranks into high school and then have them go into college. One thing you're going to see in the next, very short time period is women's wrestling and girls wrestling really becoming a force of a competition. A lot of states, South Dakota included, had their first girls state tournament this year. Spearfish High School had 2 state champions and a runner-up. I'm telling you, it's going to be a wave of the future. And we would like to kind of embrace that as a tournament here at Black Hills Nationals and have this as a somewhat of a female, not state championship, but maybe qualifier to go to a next level, like a Disney Duels team or something like that. So all these things are in the works, and this is what we're trying to do. We provide an awful lot of scholarshiping for kids to go to tournaments, to if they have any type of needs. We have resources that we allocate and earmark for their betterment and their enhancement. They have to have some skin in the game too. They got to show us that they have the desire, and they got to show us that they're going to give us an essay of telling us who, what, when, where, why, and how. So they have a plan. We're just not going to dole it out to them. We want to make sure that they have a responsibility to us to show them, hey, I really want to do this. You really want to do this? We're going to make sure that you do it. We have the resources to do that. So it's exciting to see that. We always spin into a wrestling camp in the summer. This year we'll have the wrestling camp here. I believe it's June 7th, and we're having Roger Kish. He's the head wrestling coach for North Dakota State University. Roger was going to come in last year, due to the environment and situation that was going on in the nation. We curtailed that, and he's coming in this year. So we're always creating new programs or doing different things. One program that we're going to create collectively, I just reserved the Deadwood Mountain Grand for July 13th, and we're going to start a summer dual meet tournament. Eventually, we're going to grow that dual meet tournament into a fairly large 2 or 3 day event, and our goal is to have the finals, wrestle all the preliminaries at Deadwood Mountain Grand, and have the finals at Outlaw Square, and then bring in a couple top-notch college wrestlers and do somewhat of a beat the street type event that are very popular around the nation. I'm pretty well connected in the college ranks, and I've gotten a lot of interest because I have a lot of feelers out on this. So that's our next event that we're going to create with as the Black Hills Nationals, and we just want to enhance it and leave it better than we found it. We're really trying to do that. This is our first time at Spearfish High School. We're excited to be here. And I really think it's going to be a great venue. And we have a solid staff. The volunteers that come out from the community, the Kiwanians, the Visit Spearfish folks, the former wrestlers that come in just to help. It's really cool. It's really cool to see. And they see the impact it has on not only the kids but the community as well. And we want to just keep our wheels going, and that's kind of where we're at. Tournaments just don't happen like this. They just don't materialize by rubbing a genie lamp or blinking your eyes. There is a lot of infrastructure that goes along with this. There's a lot of planning stage that goes along with this. You know, I'm a local businessman. It kills my production in the first quarter every year because I'm really focused on this. This is my focus. You know, wrestling is my focus, not only officiating, but, you know, jumping into Black Hills Nationals. I start planning this with Paul and Joel right after our summer camp is over. And by September, we have a pretty good dynamic of what's going on, and by October 1st, we're rolling it out, you know, for a March tournament. So we've gotten it down to a science, wouldn't you say that, guys?
It's pretty much.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
A couple other board members that have been so instrumental in this are Darwin and Kay Latham from Harding County. You know, they've been with me from the start, and Paul and Joel, and they have been such not only a pleasure to work with, but just such an asset, you know, and they have the same belief structure. All of us have the same like-minded thinking as far as giving opportunities to kids, wanting to see those kids grow, and that's what makes it fun. That's what makes it easy. You know, you always have your naysayers and everything else, and you have to take those black eyes as they come. Hey, someone's picking on me, they're leaving someone else alone. That's just fine with me. So I have a great support system here, and as long as we're able to, we're going to collectively, you know, keep going for more years down the road.
Yeah.
So
Just want to give a shout out to the school district and being able to hold this 2-day tournament. We've expanded into a 2-day tournament with how many now enrolled?
we have over 1,000 entries as of yesterday, and I think the biggest tournament we've ever had was 1,039 kids, and we always have about, you know, a big tournament number is 700 700 or 800 pre-registered wrestlers. This is a huge tournament number. I'm really looking forward to seeing where this goes, because the last week, you know, we have the Youth South Dakota Regional Tournament this weekend, and we get a ton of kids after that tournament's over. We'll have a ton of kids this weekend, you know, registering. So I'm interested to see where this goes. You know, we could have 1,200, we could have 1,500, who knows?
Yeah.
But
So,
somewhere
yeah.
in between there, it's gonna land. And it's
So the facilities here at the high school and middle school allow us to expand into these larger numbers. 5 different areas that hold wrestling mats, sort of unheard of, but we're doing it, and it's going to be a good experiment for us this year, and it's only going to get better. Just wanted to mention that the tournament this year will have 14 elite officials, and of those 14, 7 will be selected for the Disney Duel tournament in Orlando in June. So not only will the referees be doing a great job and having fun, but they'll also be in competition for 7 spots to go to Orlando this summer.
You know, with that, you know, just kind of the history of somewhat how this tournament got started. Paul and I had boys the same age, and when Paul moved here from Alaska to take a principal job, you know, his son John and my son Preston became pretty close friends, and you could tell they were going to be both athletes, you know, whether it was football or wrestling. Well, they took to wrestling, and Paul and I became fast friends because I was a wrestling official and so was he. And we started talking and saying, hey, you know, we have a long time to get these boys out of, at the time we thought we had a long time. Now it was just a blink of an eye. But, you know, 25 years ago we said, let's start taking these kids to different tournaments. So that's what we did. Paul and I loaded up the car and took our boys and a lot of other people's boys to a lot of different tournaments in Oklahoma, in Nevada, in Iowa, in Michigan, all over the nation. And Nebraska, we went all over the place, and that's what got them experienced. Well, Paul and I started officiating at these tournaments, you know, just to get an in the door, and we became friends with kind of the hierarchy, and we were part of the pilot program for the Disney Duels, and we reffed the Disney Duels many times, became core officials. And I finally started talking with the Disney folks down there in the National AAU, and a gentleman who was the CEO of Adidas Sports at the time, who was one of our big sponsors. And I asked him, I said, we need to do a national tournament in South Dakota. I I will put the time in to do it if you could sponsor my medals and trophies for 2 years. And he took a certain cut of the tournament to do that, and started us out with medals and trophies, and bam, this is where it's become the iconic tournament it is today. So these referees down at Disney are vying for quite a tournament, and it's really a neat thing to see, because it's kind of going full circle now. We're giving back to the Disney duels as well, and providing officials from our tournament to go down there. So this is all going to happen March 19th and 20th at Spearfish High School. You can register online at bhnationals.com until Thursday night. The early bird fee, I believe, ends in Saturday night, at 10 o'clock Central Standard Time. So that's 9 o'clock Mountain Time. So it goes from $40 to $60, and then it will stay $60 online until Thursday night. And if you miss that online registration, don't worry, you can still walk up to the door and you can pay $60 and walk in and weigh in. It's not a big deal.
Yep.
But just all our online stop on that day. One thing we do, our t-shirt vendor always puts the name of all the wrestlers on the back of the t-shirts. If you want to get your name for your wrestler on the back of the t-shirt, you need to be registered by the 15th. So at 10 o'clock Central Standard Time, 9 o'clock Mountain Time. You won't believe how many phone calls I'll get because little Johnny didn't get their name on because somebody was procrastinating, but it is what it is. So anyway, but we hope to see as many people here as possible.
Yep.
Very user-friendly website. We have on our website, we have a resources spot and accommodations. I really encourage everybody to use those hotel sponsors that are our sponsors, that are tournament sponsors. We got some great tournament sponsors that are hotels. A lot of these restaurants are just really, providing foodstuffs and things for us, to help feed. We'll have over 100 volunteers here, and that's a lot. That's a lot of juggling. So, but please patronize those who patronize us and our sponsors. So, yeah. So, like Paul explained briefly, that we're taking this to a 2-day tournament. So Friday is going to be the high school division, the girls division, and the senior men's division and the senior masters division. The interesting thing about these two divisions, the senior division is 19 to 29 years old. So you're getting a lot of former athletes. They're still fairly young, still pretty froggy, still got what it takes. They think sometimes, some do, some don't, but it's an entertaining weight group to watch. The Masters, the same thing. That's 30 plus, so it's an old timers division. And I tell you what, we have a lot of great wrestling competition in both those divisions. And I really encourage anybody that wants to come and participate, come and participate. They need to get an AAU card and register, but it's a whole lot of fun, and the divisions for the seniors are, I believe, 3 1.5-minute periods, and the masters are 3 1-minute periods. So we really love to have those guys come out of the woodwork. It's one of the most entertaining things you'll ever see, and we have oxygen mat side, so this is a good thing. But no, hope to see a lot of masters and seniors come out to this event. Thanks. And Dwight, thank you for having us, talk about the Black Hills Nationals. You guys do a wonderful job. I catch your program consistently, and I appreciate what you guys do too.